Hello everyone, welcome back to Break the English Ice. Welcome if you're new here. I'm teacher Cosette and I'm going to start today's lesson by asking you a couple of questions. Which of these sentences are correct? Tom is always late for work. He's never on time. Or Tom is always late for work. He's never in time. Lily is in the hospital visiting her grandpa. Or Lily is at the hospital visiting her grandpa. I'm in the bus on my way to work. Or I'm on the bus on my way to work. Struggling? Already confused, right? I feel you. One of the biggest challenges English language learners face is mastering prepositions of time and place, in, on, at. But the good news is that you're not alone. In today's video, I'm going to unlock the secret to overcome the difficulties associated with these teeny tiny words. So let's go over these pair of sentences and find out what's wrong with one of them. The correct sentence in this pair is Tom is always late for work. He's never on time. But why? What's the difference between on time and in time? Let's break it down. When you arrive on time for something, you arrive on schedule, at the arranged or correct time, at the time that you are expected to arrive, so you're not late. Let's look at some examples. School starts at 9 o'clock every day. Please arrive on time, the school director said. If you have a job interview, make sure you arrive on time. Our flight is delayed and won't be leaving on time, at the scheduled time. On the other hand, when you are in time for something, you are early enough so there is enough time left to do something else afterwards, or just before something happens, before a deadline, for example, or at the time something happens, before it's too late. Let's look at some examples. John got to the airport in time to catch his flight, so he was able to catch his flight before it was too late. I missed the race, but I arrived in time to see the awards ceremony. I won't be able to leave the office before 6 p.m. today, but I should be home in time for dinner. Have you heard the expression just in time? If you do or finish something just in time, you do it or finish it just before or when it is needed. For example, hey, sorry I'm late. No, you're just in time. We are about to sing happy birthday. We have finished cooking just in time. The guests are arriving in 5 minutes. So let's recap. On time is about punctuality to a specific schedule, while in time focuses on being early enough to avoid missing something. Let's move on. The correct sentence in this pair is Lily is at the hospital visiting her grandpa. But why? What's the difference between in the hospital and at the hospital? You can say both in the hospital and at the hospital, but they have very different meanings. In the hospital implies that the person is there as a patient because they are hurt or sick and they are receiving some kind of treatment. And at the hospital implies that the person is there as a visitor to visit someone else or that they work there. For example, Eric is in the hospital. He's had a minor surgery. I'm at the hospital right now, but I'll be back home before 8 o'clock. What about prepositions in and on when used with means of transport? The correct sentence in this pair is I'm on the bus on my way to work. But why is in the bus incorrect? Let's dive into it. We use in for smaller vehicles or crafts that you have to enter and sit in, and you cannot stand. For example, in a car, in a taxi, in a truck, in a helicopter. And we use on for large vehicles you can stand and walk around, on a train, on a bus, on an airplane, or for vehicles which require you to sit on a seat with one leg on each side, on a bicycle, on a motorcycle, and for vehicles which require you to stand in order to use them, on a Segway, on a skateboard. As you must know, in, on, at not only are prepositions of place, but they are also all prepositions of time. The fact that they can be used interchangeably is what makes these two little words highly confusing and difficult to use. So, if I had to learn prepositions in, on, at again, here's what I would do. First of all, and here's the secret, I would recommend that you learn the prepositions in context with the other words they are used with. In the same way that we learned phrases such as in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening, but at night and at noon, you should learn phrases such as in the car and on the bus. This way, you'll find it easier to use them. Plus, you'll get it right every time you use these expressions. Another useful strategy, and by far the most effective in my opinion, is learning common expressions, collocations, phrasal verbs, or the most confusing phrases that include prepositions in, on, at. For example, let's take a look at these tricky phrases. Do we say in the beginning or at the beginning? In the end or at the end? Both of them are correct, but they have very different meanings. Let me explain.
We usually use in the beginning when we contrast two situations in time. For example, the company was very small in the beginning, but it eventually became a giant corporation. In the beginning, nobody understood what was happening, but after she explained everything very carefully, things were much clearer. And we use at the beginning, often with of, to talk about the point where something starts. For example, at the beginning of every lesson, the teacher checks the homework. At the beginning of the video, I explained the difference between on time and in time. We use in the end to talk about things that happen after a long time or after a series of other events. For example, we worked hard and in the end we achieved our goal. I looked everywhere for the book but I couldn't find it, so in the end I bought a new copy. And we use at the end, often with of, to talk about the point in time where something finishes. For example, at the end of the film, everyone was crying. I pay all my bills at the end of each month.
Let me know if you guys are interested in a more in-depth lesson about common expressions, collocations, phrasal verbs that use prepositions in, on, at, and I'll be happy to come up with one. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button if you think you found value out of this video. Remember to subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next one.